Welcome to Masterminds in Maintenance, a podcast for those with new ideas in maintenance. I'm your host, Ryan. I'm the CEO and founder of Upkeep. Each week, I'll be meeting with a guest who's had an idea for how to shake things up in the maintenance and reliability industry. Sometimes the idea failed, sometimes it made their business more successful, and other times their idea revolutionized an entire industry. Today, I'm super excited. We've got Adrian Messer here on the show. Adrian is the Director of U.S. Operations at UE Systems, where he assists and supports current customers, users of ultrasound technology to help improve overall plant and facility reliability. Welcome to the show, Adrian. I'm really excited to have you.
Thanks, Ron. I appreciate that. I'm equally as excited to be here.
Start us off by sharing a little bit more about your background and how you were first introduced to this field of maintenance and reliability.
I wish I could say that I had a storied background in engineering, from a highly accredited university, but it's kind of unconventional, I guess, along with lots of other people in the industry. I guess that's what makes our industry unique. I graduated from Clemson University in 2001, so, go Tigers. I majored in management with a concentration in human resources. When I was in college, I was working in a grocery store of all places, and so I had aspirations of when I graduated from Clemson, I wanted to get out of the store level and kind of go over to the corporate office. When I realized that the transition from the store to the corporate office wasn't going to happen as quickly as I thought it should, I just started looking around. So I got on monster.com and came across an ad for UE Systems, but I applied for what we call a regional manager position, and my official start date with UE Systems was October 6, 2003. So here we are now, almost 17 years later. So, when people ask me what I do, I will usually tell them that I live the TV show, How It's Made. I get to go into a lot of cool plants and factories and facilities and see a lot of neat things. So it's been a great journey.
We're probably on podcast episode number 30 or 40, maybe even 50 at this point. What I've learned is that no one has a common story of how they got into this industry. Everyone's so unique.
Yeah.
Let's talk ultrasound, because that's what UE Systems is all about. That's what you spent the last 17 years, thinking about. So when is it the right time to use ultrasound technologies? When is it the right time for maintenance and reliability department to pick up an ultrasound device to help them drive better reliability and root cause analysis using ultrasound?
It's always a great time, but I would say if there's people out there who aren't currently doing anything, and you'd be surprised at how many plants and factories that not just myself, but, our people go into who aren't currently doing any kind of predictive maintenance or condition-based maintenance. Ultrasound tends to be a really good fit in those kinds of environments because the versatility of ultrasound, the same tool can be used for a multitude of applications. They can use the same tool for air leaks or the same tool for steam traps or bearings or electrical. So, we tend to be really good fits in those kinds of environments.
Give us a few examples of how some of your customers have been extremely successful using ultrasound. And you mentioned a few steam traps and air leaks. Would love to learn more.
I mentioned those two applications specifically because they're the easiest applications to deploy airborne and structure-borne ultrasound on. And they're the two applications that have the quickest return on investment. So I'm talking about, compressed air and gas leak detection and steam trap inspections. A lot of people want to focus solely on energy conservation or sustainability, and we make it easy for them to do that because we can actually quantify the losses from those systems. So we can actually put a dollar amount to how much that air leak is costing, or, we can put a dollar amount to how much that steam trap is costing if it's leaking by or failed open. So just those two applications alone, again, it's a great place for people to start. So if they're, looking to utilize ultrasound in their CBM programs, then they'll typically start with those two applications just because right out of the box, sometimes within a few minutes, you can document enough savings to have more than paid for the cost of the tool.
And I've seen your guys' solution, the handheld device. It's pretty cool.
Thank you. It's come a long way, I'll tell you that.
What I've noticed is that a lot of people are really interested in the newest technologies, especially like ultrasound is one of them, but they don't know necessarily exactly how to utilize that information and data. I'm curious, Adrian, how did you learn about how to take an ultrasound device and be able to look at all the data that it's showcasing and drive meaningful actions off of all that?
Yeah, that's a great question. And it's a question we get asked more and more from our users is what can we do with our ultrasound data? It used to be really simple. You would basically communicate from our software, like our UltraTrend DMS or our UV spectralizer software to the handheld UltraProbe. But now with so many platforms, like Upkeep, people want to do more with their data. That's one of the things that we are constantly working on at UE Systems. We'll work with anybody. If people want to do something with their data, we'll work with that company where they want to take that data to, or that platform, I should say. We have a new product that's going to make it a lot easier. We released that product just a couple of months ago, but it's called the OnTrack, but it's basically a 24/7 bearing condition monitoring system that comes readily available for basically plug and play for just about any kind of IIoT type of platform where they want to send that data to. So that's a great question, and people want to continually use their data for other things aside from just trending.
Who are the common folks that use the ultrasound device? Is this, the reliability engineer? Is this, technicians on the ground floor? Is it the supervisors? Who's the one typically responsible for running these checks? And also, I want to ask the question, what are the common plans, preventative plans that you recommend to all of your customers to use an ultrasound device?
So again, we kind of see the gamut of who's using our equipment. I would say on the average, it's probably, your maintenance technicians, your PDM techs, sometimes even, reliability engineers. We see some operators, if somebody has, operator care installed in their plant. We have what I would say are operator-friendly instruments that someone could take out and just do some basic troubleshooting with. Maybe they're doing quality checks. So we've got one customer that comes to mind in particular. They build 18-wheelers, tractor trailers. So on the assembly line, they have one of those operator-friendly instruments that they go around and they check all the pneumatic systems on the 18-wheeler to make sure there are no pneumatic leaks. So it ultimately just depends on the application, what type of data they want to get out of it. But the majority of our users, I would say, are some sort of, maintenance or reliability tech.
Do you recommend using, I'm going to guess the answer here, but using ultrasound as either a reactive solution to help you diagnose problems or a preventative solution to help prevent problems?
To kind of lead into that, we see more and more people using ultrasound as kind of the first line of defense. So I would say a more preventative tool. And, we see that in a lot of cases where ultrasound is being used before other technologies that have been traditionally been used to do the same types of things. And I always use vibration analysis as the example, but we see more and more people who are using our equipment who come from extensive vibration backgrounds. So for us as a company, it's very rewarding to see that, because I remember, when I started, some of the hardest people to talk to about ultrasound for monitoring and rotating equipment were vibe analysts. They were just so entrenched in vibration analysis, they did not want to be open to using other tools. And I can't say that I blame them, because if somebody's been using vibration analysis for 20 plus years, it's what they know, it's what they're comfortable with, it's been proven. But again, fast forward to today, we see a lot of people using ultrasound first. And it's just for the simple fact of it's easier to collect the data, it's easier to interpret the data, and we think about trending the decibel level on a bearing, for instance. If we're trending the decibel level of that bearing, if that decibel level starts to increase, it indicates a change has taken place. So it's going to alert us early that we have a potential problem. So then that vibe analyst, instead of taking vibe data on everything, they can go out to just the points where ultrasound has indicated a potential problem, and then they can confirm and diagnose exactly what the problem is.
So it sounds like, a little bit of both, and that's kind of what I assumed. Any memorable success stories of some of your customers, of one of your customers, where they utilized ultrasound to drive really meaningful impact?
We got called into a plant. This goes back to 2014, I believe. At the time, it was probably the dirtiest, nastiest plant I've ever been in. I'm not going to lie. This plant, they take compacted bales of plastic bottles. So they recycle plastic bottles, and they're removing the labels, they're removing the caps, they're washing, they're cleaning, and then they chip them up, and then they extrude them back down into fiber that goes into materials like the backing of carpet or seat belts or even, some golf shirts. So you can imagine all the stuff that gets mixed in with these compacted bales of trash or bottles that come directly from your recycling centers. They were having what I would call a significant bearing failures that would create, downtime events on the average of once a month. They deployed ultrasound. We went in and helped them set up routes, baseline readings on what I think they're now taking right at 1,000 points of data collection using ultrasound. But since they deployed this and got their program up and running, to date, they have had no unexpected downtime events due to a bearing failure. The two people that called us into that plant, both of those individuals have extensive vibration backgrounds. So we're talking like level 3 vibe analyst category. So
switching from bearing failure once a month to no bearing failures over the last, we're coming on 6 years now.
Yeah.
How do you keep up to date with the latest ultrasound technology techniques? What are some best practices training teams with how to use ultrasound?
A lot of what I have been able to learn and come to know over the years comes from just simply talking to people out in plant. So that's one of the best ways for me to educate myself on how people are currently using ultrasound, is just simply having conversations with our users, which is something I absolutely love to do. I guess I'll put a shameless plug in for our website, uesystems.com, where we have archived presentations on specific applications, so how people are using our instruments and software and reporting. And a lot of those presentations are from our actual users. They're non-UE Systems people who are given that information. And again, that's just the beauty of our industry. There's so many people out there who are willing to share their time, share their experiences, share their knowledge to help, those who didn't come from a technical background. So, those are the two main ways that I keep myself up to date.
Absolutely. And thank you as well for spending the time to share all of your knowledge. This is such a great way to learn more about the different techniques about ultrasound. What's something that you wish more people knew about the maintenance and reliability industry?
Before I got into the industry, I was one of those people that took maintenance for granted. I think about, we come into our homes and we flip the light switch. We expect the lights to come on. We turn the faucet on, the water faucet on. We expect water to come out. It's kind of the same way with maintenance and reliability. Unfortunately, a lot of times it takes something failing or something to happen for people to notice maintenance. It's unfortunate, but I wish more people would just be more aware of all the things that they take for granted on a daily basis, that if something happens with maintenance, that may cause an inconvenience for them. That's just kind of what I wish more people would just realize and think about, the things going on behind the scenes, that, people are maintaining things to make our lives easier.
Could not agree more with that statement. It's something, I realized coming into this industry too, is that there's so much work that happens in the background. And, if maintenance reliability does its job really well, then no one hears about you.
I tell people, if there's one thing that maintenance and reliability can do better, is showcasing exactly what it is that they're doing. And that, helps to create awareness and buy-in, but also it helps to just showcase exactly what they're doing. So that way, if something fails, if you've got your proper reporting and documentation, you can back up your case. And, that way, if somebody comes and says, hey, why did you let this fail? Well, we told you 6 months ago it was going to fail, but you chose not to do anything about it.
This has been wonderful, Adrian. Can you share with all of our listeners about the different ways that they can connect with you, follow you on your journey?
I'm on LinkedIn 7 days a week, just scrolling through and checking things out. So you can always find me on LinkedIn. I encourage you to connect up with me. If you have any questions, message me and know that you'll get a response fairly quickly, because I'm on there. I've kind of got it on my phone. I've got it in the background on my computer. So I'm always on LinkedIn. So that's probably the best way.
Thank you again, Adrian, for joining us. And thank you to all of our listeners for tuning in to today's Masterminds of Maintenance. My name is Ryan Chan. I'm the CEO and founder of Upkeep. You can also find me in the maintenance community on LinkedIn, the largest online community for maintenance professionals in the world, where we also host weekly conversations, contests, all centered around maintenance. Hope to connect with you all soon. Until next time, thank you so much, Adrian.
Thank you. Appreciate it.